What up, everyone? So before this video starts, I want to let y'all know that there was a lot of freaking cussing in this video. Not for me, of course. GD is used 2 times and I kind of go off. I just want to give y'all a warning and say right now, I say it at the beginning. I mean, at the beginning. I'm saying it at the beginning now. Yeah, my bad. I say it at the end. Almost said freaking beginning again. Gosh darn it. I say it at the end of the video, but I'm gonna say it now. I feel like that's the right thing to do. Please forgive me in advance. I'm sorry for everything I'm saying, or I will be saying. It's not immediately in the video. It's like probably around halfway through, maybe. I literally just now started editing the video, so I don't remember where it is. But yeah, it's just probably around somewhere halfway. I'm not 100% sure, but my bad. But yeah, I just want to let y'all know that it got to me a lot. I went off. Please forgive me in advance. Yeah. I literally had thoughts about ending the recording and just not even watching the rest of it. But I did for you guys. So please subscribe, like, share, notification bell. My bad. Yeah, hope you guys do enjoy. Please ignore that. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. I asked y'all to get 10 likes on the last Another Apple Sleep Experiment video. Y'all dudes hit freaking 40. So here we are with another Apple Sleep Experiment Part 4, the finale, Pony Grimdark by the Lost Narrator. Now, you may be wondering why it says 1 minute and 20 seconds at the bottom. Well, I'm so glad I called it. I started the recording. Yes, I got hyped at the beginning. I even stood up in my chair in the beginning. I'm already freaking hyped, bro. I'm freaking skinny, man. But I stopped the recording for my screen. How? Who freaking knows? But I did. So here we are. Again. This is literally all I've seen of it. I have seen nothing more. I looked over to my thing. I am so glad I have 2 monitors for this specific reason. This is why having 2 monitors is very useful. Very, very useful. Let's go, man. Let's go ahead and go. Y'all gave me 40 likes. We're not back into the video. We can be back to another Apple Sleep Experiment before finale. Put a good about the Lost Narrator. Let's go, man. Let me not end the recording this time. We still recording there. We still recording on the camera.
In the stillness of the night, a small pink light formed amongst the apple trees on the fringe of Sweet Apple Acres.
Why
its
is
glow
there a pink light?
progressively intensified until it had formed itself into a magical dome, and an alicorn emerged from within. Once the teleportation was complete, the light extinguished, and the princess found herself alone under the deep cover of darkness. Twilight Sparkle had many things on her mind that night.
I got done recording the video, seen this was out, and started to record this one. Woo.
She steadied herself with a slow, deliberate breath. If Applejack was going to flee anywhere, it would be here.
Why would she flee, bro? She's powerful. She killed so many ponies already. She's powerful.
A few paces forward before she could see the farmhouse and the accompanying barn in the distance. It had been abandoned for years now. A shadow of its former self. It was difficult to assess details in the murkiness, but even without seeing the peeling paint or missing roof shingles, the farm emitted an aura of dread. Once the Apple family was gone, no pony, extended relatives or otherwise, was willing to take up its residence. The thoughts of such horrific deaths occurring within the property's limits effectively left the house and orchard behind. Now, they remained only to serve as a ghost story or legend. Twilight wondered why her magic had taken her to the fringe of the orchard, rather than the front door of the farmhouse as she intended.
Because you're dumb.
She reasoned it was her frazzled nerves, or a combination of anxiety and grief still coursing
Or it
through
could be
her
like a
veins.
spell AJ put on it, 'cause who
Starlight
knows?
Glimmer's final moments were imprinted on the princess's
Forgot about
mind,
that, man. I forgot
carving
about that.
themselves into her memories.
Why am I so
The
itchy?
pain these thoughts emitted had twisted itself into
I'm already
conviction.
embarrassing myself. Let's go.
After all, an
Go.
irreversible act of violence was the
That said it was
only
3.
logical, noble course of action.
Nope.
It was the only option left, as she had already tried to show mercy all those years ago.
Kill her.
In fact, Twilight was no different than her beloved mentor, Princess Celestia. Better, even.
Send her to the moon, man. Send
Celestia
her to the
had once
moon.
banished her sister to the moon,
Send AJ to
then
the moon.
justified
Please.
her actions by
Please.
convincing ponies
Please send
of
AJ to the
Luna's
moon.
villainy.
Please.
She'd even allowed ponykind to celebrate the banishment with the annual summer sun celebration.
That's true.
And that was
That's true.
nothing compared to the creation of
true.
Nightmare Night, further vilifying her sister. Twilight
true.
at least had acted with far more care and tact. No pony outside of herself and her friends knew of Applejack's malignity. She was just another victim that would be honored and mourned. There was no celebration for her defeat, but instead a memorial. Celestia also hadn't had Twilight's foresight.
That's
she had
cool.
to take on Luna's
I
responsibilities
love that. That's
herself,
freaking awesome.
while Twilight was able
That's
to
a sharp
replace
horn.
the
Why did
missing
they need sharp
element
horns?
with the very capable
Where they put those?
Starlight Glimmer. Being a princess meant
Already at it.
making difficult decisions. And until
But
this
you
night,
put her in a
Twilight
freaking
felt
cage.
certain that she had done what was right
It
for
was
every
your fault.
pony.
Why?
She was the princess
has
of
no-
friendship, and
No,
that
you're
carried
not.
a weight of responsibility.
It was not AJ's
Mercy
fault. It was literally
hadn't worked,
yours.
so a more
You
permanent
gave her the
solution was
potion.
needed,
Knowing
regardless
what
of
could
her own
happen.
feelings and emotions.
Oh my
This
gosh.
was the right thing to do.
No, it. Oh my goodness.
Twilight
We
took
changed
another
up
confident
quick,
step
didn't we?
forward. Her ears swiveled back to the sound of something emerging
Oh
from
yeah,
within
Soren
the thicket
died
of
by the way in the last one.
trees.
If y'all ever go
Her
watch that, go watch
heartbeats
that.
quickened, though not from fear. On the contrary,
Man, I
Twilight
love that
was
dude. That was the
relieved
best
at the
death I've ever
prospect
seen,
of
man.
coming face to face with her target. Killing
That's
to
not-
defend herself from Applejack's
Hey,
insatiable
RD's
wrath
there, bro.
would
Dash is
provide
there.
Twilight with
Dash is in.
excellent
Don't kill Dash, man.
rationalization
Don't kill
for
Dash.
any
Why?
lingering guilt.
Watch out. Dash
the
is there.
alicorn
Do not
immediately
kill Dash.
ignited her horn, though the magic hiccuped
Stop
from
my
her
back, man.
growing stress.
My back's killing
Even
me.
a half-strength spell would cause damage, though, so Twilight released it without a second thought. True, it was careless not to check if the approaching pony was Applejack, but it was clear from the time of her friend's death that rational thinking was absent from the alicorn that night.
That's Dash.
Some pony cried out. The shrill yelp was from shock and not from pain. She must have missed. Twilight summoned her magic again, this time allowing the spell to strengthen first. She grunted with effort as the blast whizzed through the trees. It landed much harder this time, though it missed its target yet again.
Good.
The spell
Look who you-
collided into a tree,
Look who
its
you
trunk
trying to kill.
exploding into splintered wood.
Not
What?
this time, AJ!
A voice tinged with anger and
You say not this time,
desperation
AJ.
cried
AJ
out.
don't have a
The
horn.
pony it belonged
with
to,
blue sparkles.
Rainbow Dash, ejected
she
herself
could.
from the tree cover to tackle the alicorn. Twilight, however, was slightly quicker to react. She caught and held Rainbow captive in levitative magic.
Her eyes are
before her
bloodshot, man.
blow
What's she
could
been doing?
land.
What's she?
The
Oh,
pair froze and locked
like
gazes
she's sick like
with
lost the
wide,
mag word.
shocked eyes.
Glad y'all better, by the way.
Rainbow?
Praise God.
Twilight? What are you doing here? Thanks, Celestia.
Trying to kill AJ.
I thought you were...
Rainbow trailed
Dead.
off in relief. The
Murdered.
Pegasus's desire for vengeance
Disembobulated?
wasn't
That's
quite
not the
as
right
strong
word.
as her friends. As
Decapitated?
thoughts of
There we go.
consequences tempered her objective. She exhaled her frenzied panic before gesturing to the magic that detained her
Make sure I'm
above
still recording.
ground.
Make sure I'm
Twilight
still
blinked a couple of times to recover from the initial shock, then set the Pegasus down gently. Both Twilight and Rainbow held the silence to analyze one another.
I don't like that or
The
what. I
pair
don't like it.
immediately noticed that each
But
of
it is
them
creepy.
appeared disheveled and haggard, a stark contrast to
Where's
the
the
beginning
CMCs?
of
Did
this
they actually get out?
horrendous
I know they
night.
didn't die, but
Twilight was marred with scrapes,
they, like, escape the forest?
bruises, and acid-burned hooves. Starlight's blood was still encrusted
Acid?
onto her fur, making it difficult to tell a
been too long,
wound
ma'am.
from a stain. Her mane and tail were a frizzy, tangled mess, and her eyes were wild with shock. Rainbow Dash, on the other hoof, looked notably more distressed than the princess. Her fur was tinted with faint smudged crimson, as if she had attempted to wipe away the blood that lingered there. Her eyes were far more bloodshot and sunken than Twilight's.
Told y'all.
And even in the pale light, Twilight could see a tremor in her hooves. Most notable of all, however, was the limp wings swaying unnaturally at her side. They silently came to the same conclusion that neither pony looked entirely prepared or even capable of the act that they had come to commit.
What happened? Are you all right?
I'm here. So, let's just skip the details.
I guess I don't have to ask why you're here.
Yeah, we both know where this ends.
Twilight and Rainbow Dash peered into the distance and lingered on the site of the farmhouse.
You don't have to go. You don't have to do this. There's no point in both of us dirtying our hooves.
Twilight offered, hoping her friend
Heal
would grant
AJ.
her this small
Heal
mercy.
her.
Rainbow Dash swallowed
Kill
hard.
her.
She didn't correct the princess by volunteering the information that her hooves were already dirty. Although it was a trick orchestrated by Applejack, she still carried the guilt as if she had murdered Soren of her own volition. Rainbow chose to change
Glad
the
he's dead.
subject
Whoever murdered him, I don't
instead.
care. I know it was AJ, but
We
I don't
should
care.
have finished this.
Actually, it was Dash that killed Soren. Congratulations, Dash. It was like AJ playing the trick on her or something, right? With like a big giant tree monster or something. Go watch the last video if you haven't. Or what's that link in the description below? But you know I forget to put it there. You know I would. You know I forget to put it there. The original video we're acting right now will probably be there. But my other video probably won't. But if it is, go look. Go check it out. Go watch it if you haven't. But yeah, so Dash killed Soren in the last video. Praise you, Dash. Good job, girl.
She should have never left those trees alive. Ponies died because we were too weak to bring ourselves to do what was right.
You right about that?
I'm not going to fail again.
Why not?
Each word struck Twilight like a
I mean, you're
series
gonna
of
fail.
sharp
Let's be for
blades.
real.
She conceded. There were no small
Okay,
mercies
that artwork is
this
kind of
night,
growing on me. Actually, I
and
kind
there
of like
were
the
no
artwork.
happy
It's growing on
endings
me. It's
promised
growing on
with
me.
the dawn.
It's like a painting,
In
but
lieu
it's
of
still
a
growing on me.
response, Twilight merely started walking towards the farmhouse, and the Pegasus followed suit. Soon, the pair left the relative safety of tree cover to walk the bare open field. The eerie similarities of pursuing Applejack
Twilight's
now
all cut up.
versus 7 years ago were uncanny. The air was as thick and hot, the trees as shriveled and unkept, and the dread as daunting and all-consuming. The silence between the mares exploded into a symphony of metal springs
Why?
and frightened screams.
Oh! I hate you, Lost. I hate you, Magpie. I hate you both. That is the buffest pony I've ever seen in my life. But I still hate y'all both. That girl got her hoof caught. Oh, snap. I wasn't expecting that.
Sharp, jagged teeth embedded themselves into Rainbow Dash's left forelimb with the strength that greatly outweighed her own. She'd fallen victim to a bear trap, a
Strength, bro, you
contraption
buff.
she'd only ever heard existed
buff, bro.
and never seen in use. Twilight gasped in surprise, whirling around to see the aftermath of blood oozing from a new wound, and the metal monstrosity holding her friend in place. Twilight immediately sprang
Bear trap?
into
More like a
action,
pony trap.
fortunate that she had read of these
was
traps
too
and
obvious,
knew,
I'm sorry.
to some
No,
extent,
I'm not.
how to release a victim from its clutches. Still, she would need to stop a
Amputate.
pain-racked Rainbow from thrashing first.
Hold still! Hold still!
Twilight pleaded, her voice a frantic whisper, knowing that they were exposed and Applejack could be waiting nearby. She raced to the Pegasus' side and attempted to ignite her horn, but magic didn't respond. Dumbfounded, she tried again, to no avail. Try as she might, the glow refused.
Just let y'all know, I'm gonna check my recording. We're still gonna play it and everything. I'm just gonna check my recording and see if it's recording in .mp4 format. This is a long video, and I want y'all to get my first reaction on everything. Okay, if it's not recording in .mp4, we have a problem. OBS sometimes doesn't record my audio separate from my microphone audio, separate from my screen audio, my recording audio. So it has to be MP4. If it's MKV, that means it's not doing what it should be doing. So I'm just gonna check that right quick. It'll only take a few seconds. Okay. Yeah, .mp4. Okay, we good. It should be recording separate tracks. That's good. If it wasn't, y'all won't be able to hear me at all. Y'all hear only the video.
Had her anxiety finally willed out
should be
over
good.
her magic? Rainbow's hoof
Praise
remained unassisted as she fought through grunts and whimpers to free it. Amidst the searing pain,
Don't pull on it, bro.
Dash
That's
mentally
just gonna
kicked
make it
herself
the
for
winning
losing her
quintillion times
weaponized
worse,
shovel.
man.
It would have been the perfect tool to wedge the metal jaws apart.
AJ has a
if
shovel.
only it had not been lost somewhere in the depths of the orchard.
AJ has
After
a shovel.
hours of fruitless searching,
She
the
has a
shovel
shovel.
had to be abandoned. Dash grasped one side of the trap with her free hoof,
AJ has
straining
plenty
to
of
release its jaws. By the fourth attempt to ignite her magic, Twilight gave up and chose instead to grasp the trap with her bare hooves to help Rainbow.
You are dumb.
3, 1,
If your hooves
2,
slip, bro, it's...
3!
Make sure I didn't end the recording. If your hooves slip, bro, it's gonna make it so much worse. You're buff, bro. You can do it.
The pair exerted themselves
No way.
beyond their limits until the metal finally gave way. Rainbow wrenched her
Told you they
hoof
both-
free. She laid on the ground, clutching her left hoof to her chest, cradling it with her right one. Blood flowed freely from the
Noses.
puncture wounds the trap had left, and the trickles that spilled onto the grass mixed with the stinging tears of pain in her eyes.
AJ! Where you... No, AJ, come
Twilight
back.
and
Where you
Dash
at, man?
immediately
Where you at, girl?
and
My bad.
fearfully silenced
Nah,
themselves.
man. You a girl.
They
My bad.
whipped their heads around, looking for the source they knew to be AJ.
That looks mighty painful.
It does.
Applejack, show yourself!
Twilight shouted, more conviction in her voice than even she thought herself capable.
I could, but it won't do you a lick of good. Think that's the only trap waiting in the space between you and me?
Twilight
No, it's
couldn't
not.
see the taunting villain, but the voice carried from the direction of the barn. A large stretch of land spanned between the anxious duo and Applejack, now correctly identified as a battlefield of unknown dangers. Twilight's mind filled with horrifying
I've been
ideas
waiting for this reading,
of
man.
what
I've
could
been waiting.
actually be lurking for them there. She was no fool. She flared out her wings, intent on
That
carrying
armor is
Dash
making
over the
fire.
grassy minefield. Strangely, Applejack
What's
didn't
that bottle?
protest.
What's that
Twilight
bottle?
darted into
No.
the air,
Shut up, Lost. What the frick is that bottle?
but felt a small
Can't keep
resistance
pausing
to
off
her
this long of a
flight.
video.
An impossibly thin wire had been tripped by the princess, setting off an unseen catapult poised in a farmhouse window. A round glass potion bottle was flung at the alicorn and
like
shattered on
electricity.
impact, soaking the princess's fur with its contents. With her breath caught in her throat and unable to make a sound, both mares plummeted back to the uneven ground beneath them. Rainbow was thrown out of hoof and grunted as she involuntarily rolled a distance away. Twilight finally found her breath as pieces fell into place in her mind. She was all too familiar with this overwhelming, crushing feeling. Hypergravity, she called it, a potion that could increase gravity's grip on any object or creature without affecting its mass. Even so, knowing its effects and experiencing them were two entirely different comprehensions. The slightest movement took 3 times as much muscle and concentration, and from the already exhausted Alicorn, this movement translated into agony. Flight was now impossible for Twilight Sparkle, as her wings would be too
Walking's
weak to carry
probably
her weight
impossible
into
for
the
Twilight
air.
Sparkle.
She glanced out at the minefield before her
Bro.
with a heightened sense of dread.
I take it you don't fancy the Earth Pony life, huh, Twilight?
Rose!
Twilight groaned from her newfound strain, but forced herself back onto her hooves slowly. She ignored
You can't-
Applejack's
No,
jab,
you're 3 times heavy,
hell-bent
you
on
can't
completing
walk.
her mission.
No.
She took a step forward.
Alright.
Twilight, no!
Rainbow called out, seeing a trap poised for the princess to trigger. The ground looked uneven with freshly disturbed soil around a small mound. Twilight turned to look at Rainbow, but her movement progressed anyway. A sickly sensation of falling forward overtook the Alicorn as the ground beneath the hoof gave way.
You're gonna be stuck.
The
You can't get out.
sensation was quick to
Wait a
disperse,
minute.
however, as her hoof only fell a foot into the ground, and her other hooves could still maintain her balance. She thought, perhaps, she had corrected her mistake soon enough to keep this trap from ensnaring her completely.
No.
But a horrendous shock was in store for her. Twilight's instinct was to pull her hoof free immediately.
Don't.
So she summoned the strength to attempt to do so in one pull.
That's gonna hurt.
The problem was, Twilight failed to recognize the feeling of sharpened wooden stakes that laced this shallow trap. They were ingeniously angled downward so that they would embed themselves into their victim only after an upward motion. Twilight shrieked, wooden splinters implanting themselves into
That's a
acid-burnt
freaking
skin,
nice
tearing
trap.
open her flesh and cementing her to the spot. The shock and pain muted Twilight's better senses, and she was unsure how to liberate her hoof without her magic or sheer brute force. Her anxiety and fatigue had all but sapped her problem-solving capabilities. Rainbow Dash knew this meant Twilight was effectively out of the pursuit, at least for now. Since being thrown, she lingered close to the ground to better
That
spot
artwork
the other booby traps in her path.
is
She was
freaking
almost
sick.
certain she could avoid them to get to Applejack.
But how can Dash walk?
Rainbow stood up
She
and
can fly- no,
carefully
she can't fly
tiptoed
either.
around the fresh soil mounds as
You look like
Twilight
a
watched in
vampire.
anticipation and horror.
One without a sharp teeth.
Well, would you look at that? Dash has a brain after all. Who'da thunk it?
You stupid.
Go!
Rainbow snarled,
Yo,
crouching close to the ground.
too early for that,
Her
Dash.
eyes lingered, trying to
Way
spot
too early
any
for
more
that.
trip wires. Meanwhile, it finally dawned
Bro.
on Twilight that she could dig herself out of her predicament with her free hoof.
No,
a frantic,
that's
shaky
stupid.
hoof dug into the soil around her and
I think
snared
AJ's kinda
one.
smarter than
Twilight
that.
was determined to free herself and assist
AJ,
her friend before
AJ,
Applejack's traps could claim any more victories.
Look, bottom right,
See
bottom
how
right,
smart
bottom right,
your
bottom
mouth
right.
is when I bucket clean off your face!
Bro,
Dash called out,
Dash, you
now
are the
more than
dumbest person
halfway
alive.
across the
Pony, my
field.
bad. They're
She peered up
dumbest
towards the
pony
barn to
alive.
check her progress and froze when she caught sight of AJ's silhouette leaning against the open barn door. A shovel with an uncanny
Yes.
resemblance to the one she had misplaced was resting nearby. It peeked out of the barn,
told you she had
the
multiple
only thing
shovels.
visible in the moonlight.
what the freak I say, man?
Now, you see, I recall that being the other way around last time. How's that jaw, Dash? Still giving you issues?
Applejack asked
I don't remember that.
as she pulled the shovel
probably
out of
should.
sight and presumably
Sit
in
back down. I ain't
huff.
gonna be staying for the whole
Her
video, let's be
muscular
honest.
body was dimly lit in the barn door frame.
What is that on the
Rainbow
right?
felt as if
Oh, it's like
AJ
a trap,
was
yeah.
towering above her again
Oh, that's
as
a trap.
that dreaded timber
Oh.
monster, and the panic bubbled to the surface. Dash swallowed that down.
That's all you can come up with. I've heard better comebacks from Fluttershy!
Dash screamed defiantly. Twilight finally pulled her ruined hoof free and immediately shot her glance towards Rainbow. She was horrified to find Applejack exposed at last, her emaciated body
Oh, that was the biggest roast I've ever heard in my life. Holy snap. Oh, Dash got her good with that one. Oh, snap. Dash got her good.
pacing back and forth along the side
Ow,
of the
that looks painful,
farmhouse,
Twilight.
like a wolf eagerly anticipating
That's
its
our work,
prey. Dash, on the other hoof, seemed unaware of
come back
her
from
awaiting
Fluttershy.
doom as she carefully continued onwards. Somehow, even in this mental haze, Twilight got another idea. She raced back towards the trees and bucked her hind legs into them to shake its fruit
don't run, 'cause
loose.
you could get
She
one of the
gathered
trap.
what she could of the fallen apples and started to throw them on the ground, one at a time. If an apple landed without incident, she would crush it under hoof. If an apple triggered a trap, she would avoid it. She would follow Dash's lead on remaining close to the ground, as the tripwires above would be too invisible and unpredictable to set off on purpose. Slowly, the pair of mares made their way towards their target. Twilight and Dash both anticipated Applejack fleeing when they got too close, as she had done in their previous encounters. However, it seemed the ex-farmer was going to stand her ground on what was once her land. Rainbow Dash broke through the booby
still her
trap
land,
late in
technically.
land first, and immediately lunged at the mare. Applejack was ready for it, taking a wild swing with her shovel. Dash's heart pumped with adrenaline as she eyed the sharp weapon in her enemy's grasp. She avoided the blow, but didn't back down. Rainbow was determined to wrestle that shovel away from her target. Soren would be avenged, and she was set on repeating the same deadly move on AJ in his memory. She lurched at the earth pony again, resuming a hopeless dance of trying and failing.
You're literally
to land
using
a
so much
blow
energy
or
for
ensnare
nothing.
the shovel. From a short distance away, Twilight heard Rainbow struggling with Applejack, but had her eyes locked firmly on the ground so she could keep advancing. To her dismay, however, the apples she had gathered had all been utilized, and there was still a stretch of land to go.
Go get more
Twilight
apples.
grimly accepted that she
Go
would
get-
have to keep to Rainbow's method for the rest of her
Go get
journey.
more apples.
Dash
Rainbow's
was
method.
frantic, making asinine
What was her
mistakes
method?
that
Did
a
I miss
calm
it?
and clear-headed
Probably.
pony might not. This gave Applejack the advantage, and she happily struck Rainbow with the shovel at every given opportunity. Dash pushed through the pain of each blow, grateful at least that none had yet drawn blood. To any outside observer,
How have
it
they
would be
not?
obvious that the Pegasus was losing, but Dash wouldn't
Yeah.
quit. Eventually,
You are dumb.
Applejack started using other objects to assault her former friend. Bales of hay, gardening tools, and even the barn door beat down Dash. Finally, Twilight emerged victorious and blindly charged at the mare when she saw the disoriented Dash clutching her head from the most recent blow. She heard Dash scream out in anger as Applejack rammed directly into the alicorn, head-butting her back into the field of awaiting fatalities. Almost immediately, the alicorn triggered a trap. This time, it was a pit, far larger and more deadly than the first. The ground gave way.
Oh, don't
the
try to get out.
flimsy
Don't try to
seal
get
of
out.
loose grass and fallen leaves
Which are like 3 times
collapsing
heavier,
into the
so.
pit along with most of the alicorn. Twilight's front hooves dug into the dirt along the pit's edge as she slowly
They have sharp
slid
claws or
backwards
just like a
towards her
pit?
doom. All Twilight could do was hold on, her heavy back hooves dangling over the waiting
Yeah.
spikes
You ain't
at the
getting out, girl.
bottom.
There are spikes.
Twilight screamed,
Bro.
terrified for her
Shut up.
life, though it wouldn't have been
You're-
the first time this night. She heard, but couldn't see, More struggle between Dash and AJ.
There's the spike.
Twilight's hooves started to slip backwards again, her forelegs shaking uncontrollably.
Bro, look at that. You can actually... Okay, this art is detailed. Look at Twilight's hooves. You can literally... Can I see my mouse? Yes, I can. You can literally see... What's happening there? No, what is happening there? Okay, Apple Bloom, you look a little seductive. Assuming you're Apple Bloom. Anyways. And I love it. Hey! Wait a minute. Look at her hooves. They're actually like hooves. Like they're detailed.
She had almost given up hope on a
Artwork's
rescue
looking awesome.
when she heard the sound of Dash's final outcry. It initially sounded
Dash dead.
victorious, and a small hope started to grow in Twilight's chest.
Well, it shouldn't.
That hope
Dash is dead.
quickly extinguished, however,
Dash is
when
dead.
the outcry
Here we
was
go.
followed by the sound of a body falling to the ground, and then the horrific silence. Two friends, two faithful, loyal friends, had now perished by this pony's hooves. Two friends too many. Twilight couldn't and wouldn't give up. Now,
You're dangling
she was
3
Pony
times
Kind's
your
last
weight.
hope. A scream of effort that
That's
swelled in her
artwork.
chest roared from her lips as she
Look at the hand,
laboriously
or toe,
pried
bro.
herself from the edge
Look
of the
at those twigs.
pit. The alicorn slumped on the ground,
Don't
her
take 'em
heart
out, though. You'll probably
pounding in
bleed
her
out to death.
ears as she fought to
Let 'em block
regain
up the holes.
composure and strength. She heard slow, careful hoofsteps approaching and knew this was her chance. If she
There's
could
Dash.
make Applejack
That's Dash
believe that she was
somehow.
too tired to carry on, she would have the element of surprise on her side.
You are too tired to carry
Instead, the hoofsteps stopped a distance away, and Twilight
That's Rainbow
heard a
Dash.
curious sound that
Or
she
is
wasn't
it Apple Bloom?
expecting.
We seen her coming up.
Applejack was blowing into some kind of small tube, and
Well,
the
it is
sound was
AJ,
followed
but-
by a small whistle of wind and a sharp pain in Twilight's neck. She blinked, helplessly watching the details of the world around
seducing
her
her, bruh?
slowly blur into faint
That is not the word I'm looking for. Like, you're putting her to sleep. Whatever it's called. It starts with an S. Not seductive. That's not the word I'm looking for. Sedative. Sedative? Sedating? Sedating her. Yes. Putting her to sleep. That's the word.
shapes. She couldn't be sure, but in her last breaths of consciousness, she
Sedating
thought
her.
there was something
Sedating. That's
off
the word.
about AJ. She didn't look right, even in dissolving
Don't you
shapeless
dare
form.
jump scare me.
However, the alicorn
Don't you-
succumbed to unconsciousness
dare jump scare
before
me.
she could
What you
identify
mean
the
by that?
abnormality.
That's not AJ. That's Apple Bloom. That's Apple Bloom. That's not AJ. That's Apple Bloom. Oh, shoot. I'm on my freaking box. That's Apple Bloom. That's not AJ. That's AB, not AJ. Apple Bloom, AB. Yeah.
Twilight Sparkle.
No, it's not. It's AJ.
Replace me, do ya?
It's AJ. Maybe not.
Twilight regained consciousness
That's
to the
Apple
faint
Bloom.
sound
That
of a
saved her.
magical heart monitor. She listened to the rhythmic beeping and could feel her pulse thrumming in her head. Strangely, the sounds of the monitor did not match the thumping heartbeats in her chest. Her sight had not yet been restored.
Who was it? I'm
She
very
could
confused.
ascertain that her limbs
saved
were
you?
not laying naturally.
Or who's going to kill
In
you? 'Cause I think
addition,
it's AJ that
her head felt
sedated you.
heavier than her hooves, and her chest heaved with each breath.
the potion wear off
Unimaginable
yet?
pain came in
I wanna know.
waves with her strained breathing, as if her need for oxygen was
The
never
artwork was
quite
very similar to the actual
satiated,
Twilight.
and the rest of her body suffered for it.
That's crazy.
The agony was so
Or
expansive
is it the actual
that
Twilight?
Twilight couldn't help
No.
but moan and
They didn't have
whimper
blood in the actual
as the
MLB
world
FIM movie
slowly
or
came
show.
back into focus.
Oh, you're awake?
That's Apple
A
Bloom.
voice
Yep.
asked,
Apple Bloom.
though its tone was devoid of concern and
Definitely
resembled
Apple Bloom.
more indifference.
100%. Okay.
More senses slowly eased into
Kinda
reality.
figured it would be.
As Twilight
Now, what
shifted
that
her
seductive
weight
look you were
against the
giving,
cold,
It's
unforgiving
gonna be quite a bit till
hardwood
we get to
floor.
that. But
She
Still,
couldn't yet muster
saying.
the strength to
You,
move her
boy.
limbs,
Not
so
sponsored.
she focused on regaining her sight instead.
Sponsor me, you.
She blinked a few times and squinted, trying to find the
They're never
source
gonna
of the
see this video.
strange voice. Shapes and colors formed
watching a
into
My Little Pony video. They're not
recognizable
gonna watch this.
objects, aided by the daylight that was pouring in from a window. The room was familiar and foreign all at once. Under the thin layer of dust, Twilight spotted a Stetson hat that was neatly hanging on a hook on the wall. Nearby was a lasso and a bookcase used to store many trophies and ribbons. Other notable pieces of furniture in the room included a small bedside table near the door, an old green armchair in the
That looks
center
like
of
AJ.
the room, and a modest little
That looks
bed.
like- that looks
Twilight
like
had an
AJ.
inkling
Wait a
in the
minute.
back of her mind
No.
that the bed in this room was somehow out of place.
That's-
Perhaps it was because she
Hey,
could
wait a
see
minute,
the
hold on.
old grooves in the hard wood
That's not
where
Granny
the
Smith.
bedposts had once stood. Or maybe because she was acutely aware of whose
That
room
AJ
this used
looks
to
a little
be.
different, but
And it looked different in her dim memories. Regardless,
That's a lot
the
of
bed
fluid
now
bags, holy
resided
crap.
against the wall adjacent to the door.
is
Twilight
that?
assumed this was due to the various
About to say
pieces of
Babsy, but that's
magical
definitely not
medical
Babs,
equipment
that's for sure.
that surrounded it. Even from the floor, Twilight could tell that
Who
some
is
pony
that?
occupied that bed. The magical monitor she heard was attached to
That's
this
not
pony,
AJ.
not her. Half a dozen hanging fluid bags, with tubes, were connected to the pony hidden under the sheets. The contents of those bags remained a mystery.
this is a nightmare
The
version of
pony
AJ.
themselves
There's a hat in the left. Is this?
looked frail and sickly. They were lying on their back,
This ain't AJ.
eyes closed with the mask secured over their snout for oxygen flow. A thick red blanket and apple-patterned bed
If it's
sheets
AJ,
had been
unplug the oxygen
carefully
and snap her
and
neck.
lovingly wrapped
Do
around
it.
them. This
I know it's
pony
probably just a
fit
nightmare
so
version of AJ that's
snugly
killing
in their
everyone, but
place.
this ain't
It
AJ.
seemed that they had
This is not
remained
AJ.
this way for some time. Once Twilight's sight had fully returned,
Tell me who
she
it
could
is.
also identify
Tell
brittle
me.
blonde hair and a cream-colored coat. No, not cream. It was orange, but it was so pale she had mistaken
is
it for
AJ?
something lighter. There was only one pony this could have been.
Yes, it
Applejack. A yellow-coated, red-maned
That-
pony.
That artwork is freaking 4K. That artwork is 4K. Probably even close to 8K, man.
Stood by the bedroom doorway, holding a
Not
new
4K,
bag of
definitely at least
liquid
2.
that would replace the empty
So, what
one
happened
in
to your
the
legs,
medical
AB?
equipment nearby.
You're
The
walking
sound
like a
of
walker or
gentle
something,
hoof
aren't you?
steps and squeaking wheels
Like, what is that?
caused Twilight to snap her head to the left
Squeaking
side
wheels.
of the room. The pony's mane, once held
bad.
back by a bright pink bow, was now limp and hanging loose down her back. She had bags under her eyes and an
Like it hurts.
indifferent frown on her lips. She seemed to ignore Twilight as she both walked and trundled towards Applejack. The pony was attached to a unique device. It had been built for this particular mare by Twilight years ago. It
What?
consisted of a pair of wheels and a strong strap
Okay, talk
for the
about,
pony's
Apple
waist,
Bloom.
connected to one another by two interlocking metal bars.
What happened to
The
Apple Bloom's
pony's
legs?
back legs dangled freely above the ground, as those wheels acted in lieu of hindquarters. Twilight
What happened to
instantly
AB's
recognized the pony. After all,
Okay, what is going on? Explain! Lost narrator, if you don't explain like the next minute or so, I'm gonna freaking lose it. I'm going to freaking... Just continue.
she was her faithful assistant for over half a decade.
What? No, I missed something. I missed something.
Twilight instantly recognized the pony. After all, she was her faithful assistant for over half a decade.
What?
Apple Bloom?
No.
Who's that? Get away from her! She's dangerous!
Twilight said,
Sure
her
she
voice cracking with panic. Apple Bloom chuckled once mockingly under her breath. She continued to
Now Apple Bloom's evil.
ignore the princess.
Great.
As she carefully swapped the medical bags. Twilight wasn't sure what was going on, but she didn't like her growing feeling of trepidation. She finally attempted to move her hooves, but found them bound together.
Wait a minute. Didn't Apple Bloom escape in the last episode from the forest? No, I'm misremembering. I am misremembering. Hardcore right now.
Hogtied with thick,
Her
scratchy
look-
rope,
her look-
Twilight
her
tried
hoof
her
looks
wings
painful.
next, but the same rope had been wound too tightly around her midsection, rendering them useless. Igniting her horn was her third attempt for freedom.
Can't do that.
But try
You
as
tried.
she might, no magic responded.
I don't know how.
Out of
or why.
options, Twilight began thrashing
Maybe
to
you're too
liberate
much in pain,
herself.
too weak to do it. I don't know.
What is this?
Maybe.
What's going on? Let me out, Apple Bloom!
Twilight pleaded. Her dry mouth and
She don't want you to kill her
desperation
sister.
caused the words in her throat to be
Like
painful
your horn is so
when
sharp, you
spoken.
could probably just cut the ropes
Well,
if you.
which
very
question do you want me to
flexible.
answer first? What is this? It's rope.
Okay, so I'm back. Listen. Sorry for the vent in the background, by the way. Can't help that. This is where I was talking about before, where there's a lot of rambling and a lot of stuff said. Of course, not with this word right here that Apple Bloom just said. Of course, obviously, obviously, but I think GD's coming up twice pretty soon. So, just letting y'all know, y'all are in for a lot of rambling, a lot of venting, and I'm sorry in advance. Hope you guys do enjoy. Somehow, peace out.
What's going on? I imagine you're trying to get your magic to work, but it ain't, is it? Remember that potion lesson you taught me about the ingredient called the Powerless Poppy? You know, the one they use to disable unicorn magic temporarily? You might find a fair few of them flowers planted around the place these days, or even their powders scattered here and there. I'm surprised you don't taste the excess around your mouth.
Apple Bloom answered. Her tone still reflected little, if any, emotion. Twilight's eyes widened as she tentatively reached her tongue out to check her lips. She did indeed feel some kind of powdery residue lingering there. Her mind was racing, grasping for
Let
any
me get this
kind of
straight.
logical.
Apple Bloom was Twilight's assistant for over a half a decade. So over 5 years. And now AB is trying to kill Twi? What is going on?
explanation. When she settled on the only one that made sense, she frantically pleaded with Apple Bloom again.
Apple Bloom, I know you want to believe that Applejack is still in there, somewhere, but clearly she's dangerous. She'll kill us all. You have to let me out of here so I can get you to safety.
Apple Bloom paused midway through discarding an empty liquid bag. She looked at Twilight with a bemused and bewildered expression, almost as
That's
if she
not
was seeing the
Applejack,
Alicorn
bro.
stupidity for the first time. Suddenly, she burst into laughter. The idea was just so absurd, she couldn't help herself.
You think Applejack did that to you? This mare, right here, did all that.
Apple Bloom asked confoundedly as she gestured to the sickly mare in the bed. Twilight
Wait.
couldn't answer that question.
Were you behind it? No,
still
you weren't
searching
behind it
the
all along.
recesses of
Hold
her
up.
mind for some clarity.
No, you weren't, because
Nevertheless-
we literally seen AJ. We actually seen her. Did you set all the traps? Did you set all the traps? No, AJ says she set the traps. What is going on?
No explanation presented itself.
I'd ask if the cure makes a mare an idiot, but AJ didn't exhibit any signs.
What?
Twilight whispered.
What?
Frightened confusion stamped on her face.
Okay, if you do not explain, I'm gonna come where you live, and I'm going to do nothing, YouTube. I'm doing nothing, YouTube. I'm not doing
Apple
nothing.
Bloom sighed loudly,
Not doing nothing.
exaggerating the noise to
my back is
exemplify
killing
her
me.
impatience.
I thought it'd be fun to mess with your head for a bit, but it's actually just kind of annoying. Why don't I cut to the chase?
She
Please.
offered, taking the green armchair
Freaking
from
very
AJ's
annoying.
bedside and pulling it slowly towards Twilight. The scrape of the chair grating against the
like
wooden
that for a minute. I was about to say,
sent
what?
a twinge
That's
of
dead.
pain through Twilight's
Did Dash
head,
die? Oh, yes, she
worsening
did
the
die.
migraine she had
We
already
didn't see her
been
dead body, but we
suffering.
know she did.
She flattened her ears
Right.
as the Earth Pony teen pulled the chair into place. Eventually, it came to rest in front of and facing Twilight.
Excuse me.
Apple Bloom then calmly unlatched the device's belt from around her waist and hoisted herself into the chair, resting the contraption
What happened to
nearby.
your legs?
Apple Bloom looked like a parent ready to tell their foals a bedtime story.
She really
Want me to
does.
start at the beginning or just answer your stupid questions?
Answer my
To
stupid
say that
question.
Twilight was perplexed would be
Hurry
an
it up.
understatement. She couldn't yet mentally grasp the situation.
What
And
happened?
the questions
So pretty
in the
much
forefront
start
of
from the
her
beginning and
mind
make it quick.
grew too numerous to sort through.
Or Lost is going to get it.
After a few
I'm
beats of
joking.
silence, Apple Bloom interjected.
Okay then,
I
I'll
really
just
don't.
start at the beginning.
Of course you
Apple
are.
Bloom leaned back
Make it
in her
quick.
chair and smiled smugly, like an old
Might not be
pony
quick after all.
fondly reminiscing about a happy memory.
I guess I'd say this tale starts a few years back. Granny had just passed from the grief of everything and the strain of taking care of me and Mac. Mac was a fool for getting that heat stroke, and an even bigger one for waiting so long to get it taken care of. His mind and his kidneys were never the same. Of course, it didn't help that I was laid up the way I was, unable to get out of bed. You can't imagine what it was like for an old pony to have to take care of the grandchildren who should have been taking care of her. I don't have to tell you what happened when she passed. Mac moved to Starlight's old village because he found some unicorn mare willing enough to take care of him. Didn't know then why you insisted on taking me in, though. I know now it was from the guilt of everything you had caused. I can still remember waiting for weeks for a letter from Mac asking
Well,
me
that
to come live with him and his
that
new mare
explains it.
friend. I had this contraption thingy now, so
That explains
I
it a
wouldn't be
lot.
an invalid anymore. Why wouldn't he want me back? We were all each other had. Never happened, though. He'd lost AJ, then Granny, and Celestia helping me tried with me, but every pony has their limits. I never got confirmation, but I know it was you that convinced him to let me stay with you instead.
Apple Bloom
He probably
is
thought
mad
he was
Twilight.
doing what was best for me. Still hurt, though.
Apple Bloom briefly hesitated, bitterly clenching her teeth at the memory of her big brother's abandonment.
Instead, while I was waiting on that letter that would never come, I intercepted a delivery at the castle. You remember? All them letters and packages from Pinkie Pie
Now-
being sent back? Couldn't figure why they'd come to us.
Where's
nor who the
Scootaloo
hell
Smitty
would
Bell in all
reject
this?
Pinkie like that.
What's up, Dorpy? How you doing,
I'll
girl?
admit, I was curious. There
But
was a
what
note on
is-
top. Said it was from the head prison guard in Canterlot, sending you all the mail
Where's
for
Sweetie and
the
Scoop?
prisoner, like you requested. Odd, I thought.
We
What
better find out.
prisoner would Pinkie Pie be sending cookies to? I brushed it off and forgot all about it, till a couple of years ago. You see, one day I was working on my potions when I heard you talking to Starlight. Y'all must not have known I was close by. She was getting real smart with you about you going to Canterlot to maybe visit her again. I couldn't imagine who she was talking about at first, but then
Kaden?
them letters came to mind.
Nah.
They'd said Canterlot prison. Got
Oh,
me wondering,
Canterlot.
you know?
My dumb self thought she said Crystal Empire. Hey, it's late. Did you really? Hold up.
Couldn't imagine who she was talking about. Canterlot to maybe wondering, you know?
Say Canterlot.
So
AJ,
I
obviously.
brewed a mighty good sleep aid, drugged you, Starlight, and Spike, and went on a little excursion to Canterlot.
Apple Bloom.
Twilight whispered, horrified. She
She
couldn't
is
believe the
humongous.
pony she had taken in
No, like literally,
and
she's
raised
humongous.
as her own
What the freak?
sister would do something so callous.
Oh, it weren't no more than a couple hours is all. I wouldn't have had to have done it if y'all didn't hover around me so much.
Okay, you know what? Answer my question right quick. Cussing. Alright, cussing. That was GD, by the way. I blurted it out so y'all probably don't know. That was GD. The Lord's name in vain. Yeah, we're going on a rant. Skip if you want. See if I care. I don't, by the way, in case you're too stupid to understand. Okay, so tell me this. Cussing. People do it to relieve their anger. I don't cuss. I relieve my anger perfectly fine. By reading the Bible, by praying, by writing music, by recording YouTube videos. Every time I feel stressed, I get on YouTube and record a video. Like, I've been having a lot of anxiety here lately. So, I'm recording videos. Quite frequently. Now, I couldn't record any in the past few days because just work. I'm very exhausted. I've been working in the krill. I'm a warper kriller, by the way. You can look it up if you don't know what that is. I ain't going to explain it because this video is already pretty long already, and it's going to be even longer. Quite a bit longer. But I'm working in the krill by myself, and it's the biggest krill that we have at the plant. So, yeah, it's difficult. I know I'm going to another krill, the one I never worked at. I'm going to there Monday. 3 or 4, I don't know. I work in 1, and I'm going to 3 or 4 sometime. But anyways, I'll relieve my anger and stress all the time. So cussing, whatever. Do you. Go to hell if you want to. But why is using the Lord's name in vain so necessary? Even if you don't believe in God. Which if you don't, you're freaking stupid. But if you don't believe in God, and by the way, if you do believe in God and use the Lord's name in vain, you don't believe in God, whether you say you do or not. You probably do, you're just a Satanist and don't care. Probably ain't Satan more powerful. Yeah, you're sadly mistaken. You'll find out when you get to the lake of fire, though. But tell me in the comments below. Tell me. I want a full-on explanation why using the Lord's name in vain is so important. Let me know in the comments down below. You can say cussing because it relieves stress. Okay, F-bomb, B-S-H-I-T, or B-I-T-C-H, S-H-I-T, like, C-U-N-T. Like, there's a lot. So why use the Lord's name in vain? Why? Comment down below if you know the answer to it. And when you comment, I want like a full-on paragraph explaining from beginning to end why. Or if you explain like just a few sentences, or maybe just one, or maybe even a few words, that'll be even better. Let me know in the comments down below. Alright. Yeah. Good luck.
Y'all were a worse worrywart than Applejack was.
Twilight grimly
Didn't hear a word you
recalled
said,
the
but I'm not rewinding. I'm
paranoia
not listening to that
of
word
letting
again.
Apple Bloom out of the
Is
castle
what
in
it
her
is.
contraption. She was worried about
Comment down
what
below if you
might
know the answer to
happen
my
if she
question.
fell, or if something
Again,
jammed the
good
wheel
luck.
and Apple Bloom would get stuck.
Horn is sharp, nice
Perhaps
artwork though.
Twilight
I ain't
could have
gonna
been
lie.
a little more lenient on her restrictions and concerns, but still.
I'll cut a long story short and just
Oh,
say that I found
work.
your
Now it'll
dirty,
work.
f***ed
Not
up
that
secret.
good.
That first time, I couldn't do more than just catch a glimpse. I was unprepared, you know. So I came back here and,
Catch up.
well, I cried for days trying to make sense of it all.
Did Apple Bloom let AJ out? No. If she did, then AB, I keep on abbreviating her name to AB for some stupid reason. Apple Bloom literally is the one that is cause for all these murders.
Twilight remembered that too,
Yeah.
and could
That's
never
Spike.
get the truth out of Apple Bloom about what was wrong.
Spike's the one I eventually told the truth to.
Oh.
He didn't believe me, till I showed him. Guess he'd let me out of the castle if I had a little dragon chaperone, huh?
Spike!
Twilight whispered, extremely hurt. She hadn't heard that name in over a year, and still
He's dead.
didn't
He is
understand
dead.
why he suddenly wanted to spend time in the Dragonlands. She had previously chalked it up to teenage rebellion, or perhaps that cliché, year to
That
travel
dude
and find
abandoned her, man.
yourself.
Yup, he was pretty hurt. He helped me snoop through your things when you weren't looking, and we found all them notes you took about the sleepless potion. We found out that Applejack was the murderer because of your magic.
Apple Bloom emphasized. She didn't wait for Twilight to come up with excuses.
That nice
She
artwork is
just
Spike, I'm not gonna
continued.
lie.
He was so
I do hate the video though because of that word. Do I have another update for my computer? I feel like I do, because it's freaking lagging. I hate updates, man. There we go. I don't like the video anymore because of that word. My Lord's name in vain. But, I mean, this artwork of Spike is actually something I can get behind.
Disgusted, he left.
And that look on Apple Bloom's face,
I don't
I can
blame
get behind
him.
that too.
I almost did too.
Twilight was enveloped in memories and anguish. Spike, the dragon she had nursed from birth,
That's some
and
really good
raised
artwork of
like
Spike.
a brother or even a son.
Can't believe I ever said that in
Could
my
he
life.
truly hate
Never thought I
her?
would, but that's
In
good artwork of
Twilight's
Spike.
rationale,
It really
the
is.
decision to keep him in the dark about Applejack was
Love the
done
way
to
his eyes
spare
are,
him
his,
from the weight of guilt
like,
that
angry
she
face.
and her
I like
friends
that.
had to bear. Finding
tail's sharp,
out
too. I
through
like that,
Apple
man.
Bloom would turn Twilight's selfless
Apple Bloom was
action
good in his art, too.
into a selfish one. Twilight devolved into soft, heartbroken sobs. Spike hadn't even given her the chance to explain herself. How could some creature she loved and cared for so deeply
Apple Bloom
spurn a
is
chance
not
to
Apple
make
Bloom, my
things
bad.
right
AJ is
again
the
between
problem.
them?
She's
How
the
could
one
he
that.
have just left? Previous to this moment, there was no
Aight.
reality in Twilight's mind that could
Aight.
compel Spike to abandon her as he did. The mental anguish
This
greatly
artwork looks
outweighed her
familiar. Has
physical
this artist been on
pain.
one of these episodes before?
Eventually, I honed my skills making them potions so I could drug the guards and go visit my sister. She told me that you implied that I died that night, not just broke my spine. If I didn't hate
That's
you
what
before,
happened.
I certainly did then.
I
We
forgot
came
about
up with
that.
a plan to get her out of there. Well, I did. AJ didn't really think it right at first. She said I needed to move on. Well, moving on can mean getting out and running away, right?
Apple Bloom glanced over her shoulder at the
nah.
motionless Applejack
Maybe,
with
but
underlying
nah.
bitterness.
But it was one thing to drug the guards. It's a whole other thing to have a prisoner just go missing. We knew we'd need to account for you getting notified, and potentially all of Equestria out looking for her. Still, we eventually got everything all figured out. Every single detail. We were gonna make our way to Appaloosa so Brayburn could get us a cart to get out of Equestria altogether. You've been
No.
preaching friendship so much, there weren't many places left that didn't know about the Princess of Friendship and her friends. We would have found somewhere, though. Everything was fine until that guard showed up late to work that night.
Apple Bloom paused, her voice cracking as she recounted their plans derailing. She could still hear the unicorn stallion shouting at them and chasing them down the hall.
Applejack got hurt. She got hurt saving me.
She spoke softly, offering no
If she
other
saved-
explanation as she
If she saved you, then why did she go trying to kill everyone?
wiped a rogue tear from her cheeks.
I don't understand.
It hit her head real hard, and
Good.
she never woke up.
Good. I
Apple
hope you
Bloom
die, Apple
thought
Bloom.
she
If you don't
couldn't
die, I'm
feel
gonna be
a
very
worse
disappointed.
pain than
Very,
that night
very
7 years
disappointed.
ago. Until now,
You're my Lord's name in vain,
it was
man.
more
I'm very
than just
disappointed.
opening an old wound. It was exacerbating it. It festered under the surface as she gripped the armchair, trying to suppress her tears.
I had to change plans last minute, so I just brought her here. I was gonna nurse her back to health, but
You brought her
the
there.
longer I waited, the more the plan just fell apart. All I
like,
wanted was just to escape
Hold
and
up.
hide with my sister.
hold up.
But, you know, sometimes you can't have what you want.
How did AJ get
It's
there and not
just
looking
how
like
life
beat
goes.
up or anything like that?
It felt like a millennia since those words were told to a young Apple Bloom by a potion-suffering Applejack.
that.
It was the morning
okay, yeah, that's
after
from
the
the
Zap Apple
original
harvest,
Apple Sleep
the
Experiment.
first time she
Yeah.
noticed something was amiss with her
Yeah.
sister. Apple Bloom would never forget the wild look in Applejack's eye as she feverishly stirred the pots of Zap Apple jam while simultaneously filling jars.
Alright, everyone. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm still watching it. I've been wanting to see this for months. Of course, I'm going to continue to watch it. Obviously. I'm going to continue to react to it. 10 likes. Alright, 10 likes for my next video to be coming out. Alright. 10 likes. I hate that word. I really hate that word.
Bars
I really
in
do.
the overcrowded kitchen.
10 likes for my
That
next video comes
naive
out.
little filly couldn't understand the gravity of the situation.
You know what? I'll make it 5. I don't think I'll get to 10. I really don't. I know y'all did that first time, but that was because there was another part after this that y'all wanted me to see. But I'll make it 5 because no one on this channel, not even you, Twilight Sparkle, likes these videos. If you do, why? If y'all haven't figured out now, I have a very low self-esteem. Very, very low self-esteem. Yeah. But is that the freaking, I'm about to say Instagram. Oh my goodness. Is that the freaking recipe for freaking Zap Apple Jam? Jam? It's late.
Nor how true those words would come to be.
Crap.
You did all of this 3 days ago?
Twilight asked,
3 days
gobsmacked.
ago. There's the image.
Applebloom's disposition changed again, trading her sniffles for a smile that eventually turned into a dry chuckle.
3 days? Try 3 weeks.
Twilight blinked.
Well.
How was that possible? The note she received from Canterlot said AJ had gone missing 2 days prior. Had Applebloom somehow altered the guard's perception of time? Had she somehow delayed the letter?
I see that stupid look on your face, so let me help your itty-bitty brain riddle it out.
Please do.
You see, from what I
Idiot.
gathered, the sleepless
Please die
potion makes
soon.
time off its victims.
Twilight's stomach dropped.
The sleepless potion?
Who voiced Applebloom, bro? I'm about to freaking, like, bro, who voiced Applebloom? Tell me. Here, what? Nope, that's not. That's not telling me. That's a lot of artists. Holy crap. Do I have to wait till the end to find out? Bro, who freaking... You're here, silly. Wow. Who freaking voiced Applebloom, bro? I'm mad at them.
How?
Who? Girl, stop
How
cussing.
could you? When?
Well,
Yes,
you were
please
one
explain.
hell of a potions teacher, and it was easy enough just to follow your notes. Oh, by the way, a magic lock don't work well against acid. Just thought you should know.
Twilight paused her frenzied
Well, okay
train
then.
of thought
That
when
lock
she heard
sucks.
that.
Holy crap.
Applebloom was the reason the lock was broken.
Thing is, I was a mite smarter than y'all were about it. See, I actually studied and perfected the potion before I used
Ow.
it. I knew when to do it, too. Celestia and Luna were off on that friendship summit thing that you came up with so
What?
that we could
Wait.
make friends with every creature else on this planet.
Okay, I'm at 49.54. Alright, who voiced Applebloom? Who voiced her? Who?
Without you,
Yeah, shut up, Lost.
So
We'll
keep
hear
an
you later. Shut up,
read
shut up.
about this story.
Mute you, bro. Shut up. Alright. Music used? Yeah. Tell me who freaking voiced Applebloom. Who voiced her? I'm mad at them. Okay. Applebloom. Oh, Matt. I should have knew it. With all that freaking cussing, I should have knew it was Magpie. My goodness, I didn't think Lost could do Applebloom's voice. I should have knew it was Magpie with all that freaking cussing. Okay, 49 something. Let's go that. Oh, it's muted, my bad.
I knew when to do it, too. With so that we could make friends. I think you came up with that because you don't want them coming to commemoration.
She knew it was
Because it's
Magpie.
just another
Gosh, darn it.
reminder that you failed as a friend in front of your precious teacher. You know, I
Who?
think they're still gone. I guess those llamas don't want to play nice after all.
Twilight didn't look Applebloom
died.
in the eye
Wait a minute.
when
Are
she
they dead?
riddled out
Hold
the
up.
princess's absence. It was as if Applebloom could see past Twilight's eyes and right into her core,
Are they
where
dead?
her insecurities and failures overrode logic and common sense.
If they're dead,
How
Twilight's
much
gonna kill you.
heartabe could have been prevented.
Please, Twilight, kill her.
if she
That
hadn't
horn is sharp
been
enough to
too
go right
ashamed
through
to
her
face
spine.
Celestia and Luna.
Nah, right through her eye, bro.
Applebloom didn't seem to
Pluck her eye
notice
out, man.
or
Come on.
care that Twilight
Make
was
her
shying
Foxy from
away
Five Nights
from
at
her.
Freddy's.
She just
Come on now.
continued.
That's perfect for me, though. I
Don't worry
figured
about no
out
eye
that when
patch,
the old
though.
recipe is turned
Don't
into
need
a
one.
gaseous form, the side effects don't show up right away. I released it in the castle. You know, when you and your friends were planning that stupid memorial.
My friends?
Twilight screamed, snapping out of her shame in a blink of an eye. The thought that Apple Bloom's twisted scheme could extend beyond her hadn't crossed the princess's mind, and now the entirely new and horrific reality was unfolding before her.
Oh yeah, Pinky's the one who sent the letters, so it weren't hard to deduce that they all knew. Why'd you think Spike was so hurt? You trusted all of them, and not him.
Her hood
So-
looks.
Every single one of them was just fine and dandy, knowing that my sister was rotting away in a cell for crimes she weren't responsible for?
She was
Pretty
responsible.
Fitting if y'all experienced what you put my sister away for.
I'm gonna be
So you
editing
could
a
see
lot.
for
I
yourselves
freaking
what
hate you,
happens
Magpie.
to you. I
Just saying.
expected. And none of y'all disappointed.
No, it couldn't be true. It just couldn't be possible.
Bro, you cuss more than Eminem. I never thought I would say that, bro. You cuss. This whole video has had more cuss words than Eminem's album Relapse, bro. I'm not even freaking joking. Elevator didn't even have this much cuss words in it, bro. Chill.
Twilight had
Man.
slept. She was sure of it. She had to have slept, right? The reality was slow to settle, but it trickled in bit by bit, and things started to make sense. Twilight remembered feeling
Really? It's not
ill,
making sense to me. All
though
I hear is
not
cussing. That's all I
violently.
hear.
It must
It
have
don't make
been
sense to
due
me. All
the
I hear is freaking
dilution of the
cussing.
gaseous
That's all I
state
hear.
that kept her from being too sick all at once. At the
Yeah,
time,
this definitely not
she
getting
had
edited tonight.
also
That's for sure.
rationalized that her
Man,
lingering fatigue
been hours
had
editing
come from
this.
the
Dang.
anxiety of planning the memorial. Nausea, fatigue, irritability, manic episodes. Not a single one of them
Bro, Magpie
would have
cusses more than
believed
Lost,
their
man.
unusual behavior
real.
was anything except the manifestation
Never thought I'd
of
say that either.
stress.
Since we're going in order, let's start
Can
with
you stop talking?
Dash.
Apple Bloom said.
What'd you say?
Since we're going in order, let's start with Dash.
Dash,
Apple
okay.
Bloom
I didn't
said,
know if that was a cuss word or
folding
not.
her
I
hooves
wanted to rewind to make sure.
and getting comfortable.
Weren't a mystery why her manic state would manifest as Wonderbolt nonsense. She probably thought she was some kind of prodigy record.
I'm done. 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 10 likes when my next video comes out, bro. 10 likes when my next video comes out. 10 likes. 10 freaking likes. 10 likes before my next video comes out. 10. That video was going so good too. Video going so freaking good too. Man. Video going so good too.
Station of stress.
Since we're going
Zoomed
in
in
order,
too long.
let's start with
Too early.
Dash.
Apple Bloom said,
There we
folding her hooves.
Oh, where was you, Chicky? The rest of y'all wouldn't be far behind. Unlike with her, I made sure I was around for every pony else's eventual break. I also
Glad that
promised the
dude
mayor
died.
I would
Can't
tell
wait
you
for
about
Apple
Soren
Bloom to
and the
die.
cancellation.
She don't die, I'll kill her
Ponies
myself.
just figured you were in mourning when you didn't say nothing.
Wish I could.
Frankly, Mayor
If she
Mare
was
was
real, I
kind
definitely
of
would.
shocked to see me since I usually boycott Ponyville around this time of year.
There's
I
gonna
don't
be
live
another
under
one.
your roof or your
Look how much
rules
longer we
anymore,
got. We're
so
not
you
even
can't
3/4 of
force
the way
me to
done. There's
go.
gonna be another one.
In fact, I've secretly spent the past couple commemorations with Applejack. You know, the reason for your disgusting cover-up holiday.
Even though Apple Bloom spoke with conviction, Twilight was still convinced this was all an elaborate lie.
Video was
There
so
was
good to
just
start.
no way any
Why
of
did
it
part
could be
1 and
true.
2?
Hanging on to that hope
Yeah, this
was
part
the
4 isn't it?
only thing keeping
Yeah, why did
Twilight
part 1 and 2
quiet
not have
and
GD at all?
somewhat sane.
Barely even cussing,
First
I
things
think.
first,
Yeah,
I
cussing,
was the
but
one who intercepted
like,
the note about AJ's
1 and
escape.
1 and
I
2
was
didn't
gonna
have
wait
GD.
until I was
But 3 and 4
sure
have
you
to
were
have it.
ready before I
4
told
has to have
Starlight
it
that
twice.
later. But I got
Like,
impatient.
Probably
See, the thing
10 more
is,
times before the video freaking
Revenge
ends.
It stirs around inside you like an angry critter, biting and clawing to get out. Lucky for me, my timing ended up being just right anyways. You were stressed out just enough to break. Seems you didn't even know I was there. Of course, you're the one who can fill in those blanks. What happened when Starlight showed you that later?
Twilight immediately
What letter?
recalled that
Oh, that
first
letter. I
prickly
remember that.
tendril of dread that encompassed her chest, and the frantic
Yeah, that was the
events
guard
that
letter, wasn't it?
followed.
Yeah.
If Applebloom was to be believed, then
That
AJ
was
was
good artwork.
never in her lab at all, which meant she had destroyed it for nothing. But that couldn't be true.
It
Could
wasn't.
it? And hadn't AJ so clearly slaughtered Starlight?
And everyone
Just
else.
here.
Words echoed in Twilight's mind. Words that she did not remember
Nice
Starlight
artwork though, ain't
saying,
gonna lie.
but somehow felt familiar.
She was just here. She ambushed me.
Terrifying pieces were falling into place. Starlight barricading her door with magic out of fear. Twilight blasting in. Starlight looking frantic.
I tried to barricade my door, but she got through. You don't think
I'm still going to react to the video like I would without GD being used in it. Boy, what the freak? Holy crap. Okay, hold up just a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a freaking minute. No. 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 Nah, bro. No. We're not doing this, man. We not doing this, bruh. We not doing this. No way did Twi kill Starlight.
she's here to replace me, do you?
No.
Those words.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
She had thought they came from Applejack. Twilight's breath quickened as her body began to shake. More and more images replaced memories.
No.
Truths replaced delusions.
Wait a minute.
Twilight jolting towards Starlight with a shard of mirror. Starlight confused and trying to run away.
It's okay. I didn't really expect you to tell me anyways. I was there for the last bit, though. It looked like Starlight was gonna win out with that dresser of hers, but you were quicker. You slit her throat before she could drop it on you.
The sharp pain. She had passed out, hadn't she?
How could Starlight hurt me if she had already died?
Twilight asked, not realizing she had spoken
heard
it
yourself,
out
probably.
loud.
She was levitating a dresser above your head when you killed her.
Oh.
Once she died, it dropped. Simple as that. You laid there on the ground for
Pretty
a
simple.
long while, and I considered curing you right then and there, seeing how you already killed and all. Thing is, you were the first one I could observe up close, and you used to always harp on me about taking extensive notes on my potion experiments. Isn't knowledge the true power, Twilight?
Applebloom asked, adding a dark enthusiasm to the question just to torment her former teacher.
No, I.
Freaking the ear starting to hurt, man. I got to switch my AirPods out, man. Hold up. Did it disconnect? I feel like it disconnected.
I immediately came here
There it
to
is.
the orchard. I know I did.
Twilight insisted.
No,
It was
there was
in
like
that
a lot of
moment,
there was a lot more
in that
deaths by
unbridled
time.
panic, that Applebloom could finally confirm that Twilight had accepted her explanations
wrong with your
as
horn?
truths.
Like, what's wrong with your
Yeah, I'll
horn?
bet you did. 'Cause you eventually staggered up, covered in Starlight's blood, and zapped yourself away. You went missing too. I was kind of pissed off that I couldn't see what you were gonna do next, though. I figured for the rest of y'all, I'd cure them when they'd done something unforgivable,
You know, pissed off is not a bad word, so I'm not blurring that out.
rather than
information.
have 5 morons bumbling
A lot of
around my
people say
family's
it is,
orchard.
But it's
I
not.
told you, the potion
Not to
fucks
me, at
with your
least.
sense of time.
Twilight felt an uncanny and left-handed rumble in her stomach. She could faintly taste apples
Gotta stop
on her
pausing, gotta stop
tongue,
pausing.
and more
Long
images
video already.
flashed in her mind.
Holy crap.
Twilight recalled
Holy
wandering
crap.
aimlessly, unable to distinguish one grove of trees from another, An endless sea of
Now,
apple
that
trees
is
was her
best
unrelenting
artwork.
prison. The maze of their paths offered no
I literally took a
guidance.
screenshot of that.
She
That is
recalled
freaking amazing.
teleporting on occasion, but with no clear thought of where
That's
to
freaking
appear,
amazing.
and ending up in places with more unfamiliar apple trees each time. The only reason the alicorn did not perish was by eating
That's
the
the thumbnail of the
unkept
video, I
apples
think.
in their gnarled branches. Dim memories presented themselves of Twilight lingering at specific, yet inconsequential trees
Does Twilight
for hours on end.
get the sleeping
She could
potion?
recall seeing slight
No.
movement in these trees.
They
and her
probably mentioned
eyes
that. I just didn't
fixated
care.
on them, waiting for
At the
that
time.
movement to morph into Applejack.
You know why?
She couldn't let her guard
That you're
down
too stupid
after
to
all.
understand.
The AJ in her mind was
Which means you're probably too
enhanced with
stupid
the
to
great
understand.
magic of Twilight's own making.
Not sorry,
On the
of
rare
course.
occasion that she could pull her attention away from one tree to another, her hooves wandered in endless circles. She had seen hoof prints in grassless soil patches and believed them to be Applejack's tracks. She realized in this moment, however, she had been following her own hoofsteps. Twilight knew that finding the farmhouse at all must have been sheer coincidence.
Next, it was Pinkie Pie. I think it was 5 days after Dash went missing that she finally broke. She'd made so many desserts she was baking every pony out of house and home. The cakes probably didn't know what to make of it, truth be told.
Getting
I got
cold
to the
now,
bakery with the cure when the place was already engulfed in flames. Pound was screaming about Pinkie killing his mama and his daddy still being inside. Of course, by then they couldn't save him. Pumpkin's lucky she got out in time. They're in Manhattan right now, I think, living
Bro,
with
I'm
some
about to
distant
shave,
relative
man.
or something.
Oh, I'm about to shave. Hold up, I gotta shave in a minute, man. When this video gets off, I gotta shave. Hair getting too long for my liking. Y'all can say TMI if y'all want, whatever.
Pinkie's got some real bad burns to heal up before she can face the
I was literally
princesses,
just about to
though.
mention that, AB.
Pinkie.
Apple Bloom.
Twilight whispered
idiot.
woefully. She wished she could tell Apple Bloom to stop,
You're standing
but
in that
she
fire.
just had to know what happened to her
That's
friends.
syringe.
But what about Rarity? And Fluttershy?
Yep, they succumbed too. In that order, actually. Rarity lasted about a week and ended up killing Sweetie. She wrote guilty all over the walls in her
I don't
blood.
remember that.
At least we could agree on that part. Her guilt, that is. Afterwards, she spilled her guts out to me about, well, darn near everything. Do you know that she was there that night 7 years ago and could have prevented all of this?
So AB was behind this
I
the whole
was
time.
a bit sad she was already in Town Hall's holding cell when she confessed. Had I known that earlier, well, things might have gone a little different.
But Sweetie Belle was your friend!
Twilight protested, as if there would be some kind of logic to snap Apple Bloom out of this cold, calculated callousness.
She ain't my friend. She and Scootaloo abandoned me, you ought to know that. Scoots claimed it was too difficult to see me like this. And Sweetie? Well, she eventually blamed me for what happened. Both as far as I care.
Who was this monster? And how could she be wearing Apple Bloom's skin? Twilight had done everything
If
she
Apple
could
Bloom
think
does
to
not
do
die
for
by the
this
end of
young
this,
mare. She was a
It's
shoulder
one
to
of the
cry
worst,
on,
and I mean
guiding
worst,
hoof in her academic
creepypastas I've ever
pursuits.
seen.
She encouraged Apple Bloom
Or
to
ever
expand
heard, I
her
guess I should say.
horizons
Seen
and
slash
rise
heard.
above her
The worst.
pain. Where
If she doesn't die.
exactly had she failed her?
Last but not least, Fluttershy.
Apple Bloom said with a sigh,
Fluttershy?
getting a little tired from the long-winded narrative,
Whose eyes are those?
but
Those
still
ABs?
secretly reveling in it.
Well,
She
think
broke
about Cutie
about
Mark has
2
those.
weeks in and had been starving her animals for Celestia knows how long. Before she started babbling all nonsense like, she mentioned running into Angel and snapping his neck on accident. Her critters retaliated, but of course that just led to more critter death. You know, it's funny, 'cause all things considered, her crimes were the least, well, damning. Strange thing though, I cured Fluttershy. But that didn't stop her from babbling nonsense and flailing about. I tell you, it didn't make any sense, but Oh well, she ended up in the loony bin anyway.
I can see that.
Fluttershy's in the mental hospital?
Twilight whispered, feeling a pang
I mean,
in
she
her
did kill all of
chest
her
for
animals,
her
which was the thing
friend.
she loves most in
Yep.
the world, so.
Gonna stay there, most like. Who knows? The others might join her, depending on how their trials go.
Apple Bloom added. She
They getting the death
readjusted in the
penalties, man.
chair
They
before
getting the death
continuing on.
But was Dad not
I
with you
gotta
there in the
admit,
orchard?
It's been a mighty interesting few weeks since you and the princesses weren't around to investigate the new deaths and disappearances. The Canterlot Guard had to come poking about. Obviously, they were going to check Sweet Apple Acres. I'd already taken care of their memories from the escape, so it was just a matter of convincing them that I hadn't seen AJ about. I didn't always work though, so I was making potions double time to throw them off our scent. Thank Luna Guards is stupid, and their pea brains are susceptible to potions. But I got worried that while I was busy watching your friends and waiting for them all to break, some pony would poke about where they ought not. So I planted them flowers and set some traps around the farm.
So
Besides,
was you.
I was killing two birds with one stone, knowing that you and Dash would eventually stumble
Dash
about these
was there,
parts.
okay.
Kinda crazy it was at the same time though, huh? Dash is in town hall right now with Rarity, waiting on the princesses. I think ponies wanted to find you first, hoping you'd riddle out why your friends had gone so
That's the whole,
nutso.
isn't it, with the
It's
freaking
gonna be interesting to see what
thorn.
they say when they find your body instead.
Had Apple Bloom just said what she thought she said? Twilight's blood ran cold, and a deafening thumping in her head increased with every rapid heartbeat.
Apple Bloom, please!
Twilight couldn't think of the right way to beg for her life. This wasn't her little student,
Well, she gonna get out somehow.
assistant, and
If
protege.
you don't-
This was a monster pretending to be
Well.
Apple Bloom, and monsters were difficult to appeal to.
I considered letting you live like
Now, why is your freaking, like, look, it looks like your tongue is, like, being dragged out by your teeth. What the
the
freak?
others
Oh,
and getting
that's
put
so,
away
yep.
for life. But I just don't trust the princesses not to go easy on you. They just seem like the type to pull some stupid loophole and set you free somewhere. True, you'd have to live with the guilt, but that just ain't good enough for me. No.
Now, her eyes are
While
red.
you draw breath, I can't find peace.
Apple Bloom finished,
Well,
relieved
same here
the
with you,
explanations
bruh.
had finally ended.
It
With
wasn't
me.
my fault! I warned Applejack about possible side effects, but she took it anyway! I knew I should have gone to the orchard with her and shake the trees myself, but the princesses needed me! The drought was more important than some zap apples, or so I thought! I was wrong, okay? Wrong! But I'm not the one who murdered ponies for revenge! I'm not the one who tried to hurt her friends and loved ones! I'm not the one who crippled you!
Twilight shouted, throwing every piece of logic she had left at Apple Bloom, hoping something would stick.
Apple Bloom is
didn't
too
respond.
stupid to understand.
She calmly
Alright.
reattached her device around her waist and walked to the side of the room previously obscured by medical equipment. An
She's just too
old
stupid.
dirt-encrusted shovel was then slowly brought into sight,
Camera getting warm.
clutched firmly in Apple Bloom's hoof.
We're
It
almost done,
wasn't
though.
the
Praise
shovel. Rainbow Dash had disposed
Well,
of that
kinda
ages
almost
ago,
done.
but it was fitting enough. She glanced down at her target, a firm set grimace on her face.
Okay,
I
Twilight.
don't care. You betrayed her. You left her to
Nah.
rot, thinking y'all could just sweep it under the rug and forget it. You threw her away like she was nothing. Funny how friendship
I mean,
don't
she is
mean
nothing.
without
So are
honesty.
you.
Huh.
You're
Apple
double
Bloom,
nothing.
Listen to me!
Twilight Sparkle's plea was
Sound like a
interrupted
weak slap, bruh.
mid-sentence.
Very
when the
weak.
pony wielding the shovel hit her hard across the face.
No! Okay, my body just had like a freaking spasm, bruh.
When the pony wielding the shovel hit her
Bro.
hard across the face,
Didn't
knocking
sound like it
her
was a hard
out
hit.
cold. Apple Bloom
all
methodically
sound very
locked her
weak.
wheels into place,
But that image did look kind
then
of creepy,
casually
though.
placed
No
the
cap.
sharpened blade of the shovel
Haven't
to
said that
the
in a
ropes
video
that
ever,
bound
but
Twilight's hooves.
Did then.
It took a bit of time and elbow grease, but eventually the spade of the shovel cut her ropes. Twilight's body flopped flatly onto the floor,
yeah.
making her
Why would
into
you cut
an
the ropes,
easy
though?
target.
Why wouldn't you just freaking...
Apple Bloom paused for only a second before she
Take
lifted
what
the
you
shovel
freaking-
above the alicorn's body. There was no going back. With a
There's the
grunt
image,
of
okay.
effort, the shovel came down hard and pierced the fur of Twilight's torso.
Well, she is dead now.
Soon after, Apple Bloom pried it up
Sadly.
and thrusted it down again. This
Don't look
time,
like Apple Bloom's
the
gonna
blade
die.
made contact with the alicorn's left forehoof. The third strike nicked the stomach. Apple Bloom wasn't that great at aiming, seeing how
Clearly.
each thrust was supposed to pierce Twilight's heart. But she was surprised she hadn't drawn as much blood in her first few attempts. By the fourth thrust, Apple Bloom punctured an organ, and blood finally began to flow in surges. Apple Bloom's movements went from calculated to crazed. She screamed and sobbed as all her bitterness and anger was funneled into the bloodied mare. That uncontrollable shake, it prevented her from keeping a proper grip on the shovel. After a final thrust, Apple Bloom's assault
Now,
ended.
how are you
The
standing
shovel
up?
escaped
the
her
wheels must be
grasp,
helping you stand.
tumbling
okay.
haphazardly onto the
Like, how you
crimson
stand
and
up with no
violet
legs,
mass.
but I guess the wheels
She
are
glanced in
stronger
slight
than I thought.
disbelief at what she had done. The blood splattered and stained on her sunny coat.
Screenshot for
Apple
thumbnail.
Bloom's
That
heart
one
was
might be the thumbnail
pounding in
too. I
her
don't know.
chest
One of them
as
will
she
be.
stood motionless and loomed over the lump that used to be Twilight Sparkle. After a few minutes, she blinked rapidly
Thumbnail
to snap
material
herself
again. I
back
see
to
that
reality.
Lost in Magpie
She
image
told
in the background.
Twilight that she perfected the sleepless potion, but the foolish princess hadn't asked her what that meant. Changing some ingredients here and there, and microdosing her own exposure, had kept the Earth Pony awake since the beginning of her vengeful quest. She couldn't afford to sleep and have Princess Luna stumble upon her dreams. Found
Oh, I don't know
Applejack's
why I don't have the
dreams
guts to kill
either,
myself.
and Apple
I really
Bloom
don't.
was convinced it was the
Wait a
dream.
minute, YouTube, don't take this down. Literally, I'm gonna spend hours editing this. Don't take this down. I might literally just edit. No, I ain't
Endless
editing it out.
potion she
Freak
had been
YouTube, man.
slowly feeding into Applejack's sleeping body. It couldn't possibly be anything else, even
But-
if the magical monitor that showed the brain activity had been consistently silent. No,
I am still.
there was a potion to fix just about everything. She'd just have to
Clearly.
work harder.
Potion for everything in this world.
Apple Bloom took a slow breath to compose herself.
At
She knew
108
she ought to
heartbeats per minute.
dispose of the body the way she had planned. The trouble was, her frenzied attack had completely
My bad.
sapped Apple Bloom of energy. Melting skin, tissue, and bone in a specialty mix acidic vat of potion would have to wait. It seemed ponies wouldn't be finding a body after all. Apple Bloom's hooves dragged on the floor as she walked and wheeled towards her sister's bed. She gently pressed the latch on the contraption around her waist, freeing herself from it as she awkwardly climbed into the bed beside her sister. Apple Bloom snuggled AJ from atop the covers, burying her face in her mane as she had done so many times as a filly.
You can wake up, Applejack? Please? Please wake up.
She whispered
You are more stupid than I thought you were.
softly and lovingly to her big sis.
You were right. I should have listened to you. I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that,
I just
idiot?
couldn't let it go.
What do you mean by that? I seen that tear, by the way. Don't think I missed that. I didn't. She didn't die. She didn't die. That was a really good artwork, by the way. I loved when I seen that, man. But she didn't die. Free. I hate that. Overall, it was a good series. MatPat's Rarity. Yeah, I knew MatPat could do Rarity's voice. I forgot all about her being able to do freaking The Lost Narrator's Rainbow Dash. Yeah, I knew that. Wait a minute. Hey. Oh, that was on the video itself. Okay. But yeah, I forgot all about The Lost Narrator being able to do Apple Bloom's voice. I forgot all about that. Who did freaking... Okay, yeah, that person. Okay. Miss Cake dead, bro. Ice Gaze, you probably dead too. Cause Miss Cake is dead. Miss Gaze, what? What? As Fluttershy's version of Applejack? Oh, MOP art. Okay, that's the art. Okay. I'm about to say, what do you mean? Mary Melody as Sweetie Belle. Scootaloo as... Wait, Scooter Tricks as Soren, my bad. Yeah, I'm glad you died. Scribbler Productions as Twilight's narrator. Delightful Cloud 9 as Pinky's narrator. Alright. Narrator Pony as Fluttershy's narrator. Guru to say Nay as Rarity's narrator. Shut up, man. Shut up. Apple Pony as Rarity's additional narrator. Alright. Apple Pony Apple. Yep. I knew that one. That episode experiment. I mean, it was a good series overall, but I still hate it because of that. I really do. I really, really honestly do hate it because of that. Let's see what she has to say. Or not. I mean, I do like seeing who made the artwork. Flutterpaws. Tapeworms. Bro, why your name that? Spin Charlie. Sleepy Dove. Bruh, or Dove. Dove. That's artwork though. Nomad Flicker. Meg Blue art, bro. This artwork, freaking fire. I loved it. This was pretty good too. Fired on 13. I'm saying all these names wrong. Shut up. Black Dove, whatever. Wait, hold up. Wait. Lord of the Feathers. Yeah, you ain't no lord. You're just stupid. That's all you are. But you did get the hooves right. I like that. You did actually make like the hoof pads. Whatever the freak they're called. Exifina. No, I said that wrong. Equestrian Exploration. I don't know why I'm reading all these voices or all these freaking names. It's literally no point. It's literally no point, people. It's like literally no point. Donnie Sartan. I know I messed it up, but that was a good art too. Man, I'm exhausted. Whew. Dorpy. That's a lot of words. Yeah, who did that Spike image, bro? I want to know. Callisto. I hope I said that right, but that's some freaking good art, bro. Or girl. Girl, bro, whatever the freak you are. Marshmallow Virgil. Vladdy Voices. Yeah. Hazrina. I don't know why there's a 3 in there. I don't know why people do that. Spin Charlie. Is that the person that does all those buffed images? No, this. Roxy Madness. Madness, alright, but freaking cool. Black Dove. Sunny or Sunny, bro, freaking awesome. The best artwork in the freaking in this freaking series, probably. If that first one was Twi. John Sin 7. Yeah, this one was pretty good too. I like that one. Maki_D_Llama. That was pretty good one too. No Man Flicker. Oh my goodness, bro. That one was crazy. That one was crazy. Mindless. I don't know why the freak I'm reading all these. Shut up, Sleepy Dove. I mean.
Hey everyone, Mag and I wanted to take a moment and thank each and every one of you.
Thank you so much to the artists whose
Who did that one? Blitzalidash.
incredible talents and
That was cool.
imaginations brought life to this story.
Thank you to the voice actors who
That was
brought
dope.
their A
That was-
game, and the performances were just phenomenal from you all. Thank you.
Thank you to all the wonderful fan art pieces from this story and its predecessor.
Fan art
As
was
an
good.
author, I'm forever grateful and in awe that Apple Sleep could inspire so much creativity outside of the videos we create and the written word.
In fact, we've received so many fan art pieces that it would have been nearly impossible to include them all in this video. So, instead,
Wow.
we're going to showcase
Oh
each
my
and every
goodness.
one of them in the 4-part podcast series talking about this story and the project.
We want to go into some nitty-gritty details and really dive deep into the world of Apple Sleep. It rhymed. So keep an eye out for that in the coming weeks.
That's Magpie, isn't it? Sweet Dreams, Jeff the Killer theme. Jeff the Killer theme.
We need a little break first, you know. Too many
Magpie,
apples,
isn't it?
not enough sleeping over here.
Oh, no.
Maybe it added to the method acting, I don't know. But finally,
okay, it was,
we
it
want to
was.
thank you,
I thought
the
it was.
viewer. Without you, none of this would have been possible. So we hope that you enjoyed this experience.
I can't dislike it, man. I can't. I mean, they put so much work into this. I'm not going to give it a like just because of those two losing my Lord's name in vain. I'm not going to give it a like. But, I mean, I can't give it a dislike, bro. I can't. They put too much work into this. I mean, they put a lot of effort into this. And they got sick over it, too. Had to stop it. I mean, I'm still very upset. I mean, Magpie and Lost. I guess I should be talking more about Magpie here. 3 hours ago. Oh, my goodness. It was like an hour when I started. But I mean, it's just freaking, you know, I literally go off. That's my pen. Oh freak. That's my pen. But like, I literally just go off, and I cannot stand my Lord's name being used in vain. I literally cannot. I just can't. I'm sorry, Magpie, for everything I said. Please forgive me. If she watches this video, if she don't, at least I know I did something right by the Lord. Ask for forgiveness. Bible says we should always ask for forgiveness. Even if we don't want to. Which I don't want to, but please forgive me, Magpie and Lost. Pretty much everyone that worked on this. Y'all did a lot of effort into this, and I thank y'all for giving us such a freaking banger of a series. I still love the series. The last 2 episodes have just made me mad. I'm not going to do the 10 likes for the next video. The next video will be coming out whenever I get it done. This one might not be first. I might do this one first. I don't know if I'm going to do this one first or when I recorded earlier today first. I don't know. But sorry for everything I said. Please forgive me, y'all. I still don't understand why people have to use GD. Like, there's plenty of other cuss words. If they really want to cuss, there's plenty of other ones. GD can offend a lot of people. Yours truly. So, yeah. Still comment down below if you know why people use those words. Please comment down below. Like GD at least. You're gonna say cussing helps people relieve their anger, helps them express themselves. I express myself perfectly fine without cussing. I literally used to cuss. I know what it's like to cuss. I literally used to cuss all the time. Just for fun. I used to say sentences that have nothing but cuss words. Literally. I used to be the worst cusser in the world. And I will bet money on that. Every time I would say a word out of my mouth, there will be a cuss word. Every single time. Now look at me. I don't cuss anymore. Now, I'll slip up here and there. I'm not going to say I don't. I slip up here and I said a cuss word in a video, like I think a few months ago. Not on purpose. I said a S-H-I-T word. Not on purpose. I didn't even know about it until Twilight Sparkle commented it out. That's when I knew about it. So, I'm still wanting to doubt that I said that. That was in a Choo Choo Charles video, by the way. near the end of one of them. But I still want to doubt that I said that. But I know I did. I know I said that. I know I said that word. I just still can't believe that I did. But if I get like really scared, I'll say a cuss word. Like, I mean really, really scared, I will say a cuss word. Like SHIT, like holy SHIT, or like AVCK, BITC, you know, like, I will cuss. Now, I won't use my Lord's name in vain. I might say God, you know, then I'll like cut off and I will make myself stop. But I will never use my Lord's name in vain. Not on purpose. And if I do it on purpose, oh well, I'm screwed. Because using the Lord's name in vain is the one unforgivable sin. Which means I will always have sin in my life because of that. But I know God will still forgive us. But he won't forgive that. It's actually kind of difficult to explain. I'm not going to lie, but the Bible says the one unforgivable sin is using the Lord's name in vain. Not that you still can't get to heaven, because you can still get to heaven. You can still get to heaven. Just, God won't forgive that sin. And I can't either. But I hope you guys did enjoy. We made pretty good time, though. An hour and 20 minutes for this video, and I've been recording for an hour and 39. I mean, we made pretty good time. I thought it was going to be at least like 2 hours long for this video. Like 19 minutes longer than the video itself. Like, I mean, pretty good time. But a good bit. Come on, I had to mess that up. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, subscribe, like, comment, notification, share. And as always, peace out now. Like I said, there will not be a like goal to reach for my next video. Please forgive me, y'all. As always, peace out. I love you guys. I really do. Thank you for tuning in. Like, I just want to sit here and talk for a little while longer. Y'all alright with that? Y'all alright if I just sit here and talk for a little while longer? Like, man, this series was really good. Like, I was going to end the video here, but I just want to talk. I just want to talk. But I'm hungry. That's the problem. I'm actually hungry. If I wasn't as hungry as I was, I probably would still talk. Plus, Patreon only blooper reel. Yeah, I am not subscribing to the Patreon to watch bloopers. That's not going to happen. I want to, but I ain't going to. I know there could be words in there I don't want to hear, so I ain't going to. Or at least a word in there I don't want to hear. So I know I ain't going to. Especially if Magpie has so many bloopers. Woo! Ain't no way I'm going to get out of that. Get out of here and GD from that. No way. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go end this video here. I was going to sit here and talk for a little bit, but I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. It's already 11:05. Man, I'm hungry. Woo! Peace out, everyone. Man, peace out.